Good evening from Reykjavik in Iceland, and we're glad to be back here exactly after a year. We just landed a couple of hours ago at the airport and just checked into an apartment which is downtown, not far from where I am. And yes, it's 8 o'clock in the evening and it's Thursday, the 15th of June 2017. So it is a beautiful place and it's rather special. I'll share more with you as we go along, so please stay with me. Here in one of the main streets, there's Jane. Hello, Jane.
Hi, here we are again in Reykjavik.
Yes, here we are.
In
You having fun?
charming Reykjavik. Oh, it's a lovely place. You just go chill.
Good.
Literally.
Okay, shall we go and have something to drink somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay,
We're
so
going to Cafe Tar.
Cafe Tar. Yes, we know this cafe from last year, so let's go in there, shall we? Here's our Icelandic musician and his dog.
And I was a slave to my pain. I used to work around the clock. I used to work around the clock. Yes, every night and day. But your life doesn't have to be this way. You can quit your job. You got no reason to stay. I'm going to the beach. I'm going down to the bay. Well, you can find me there on a Sunday day.
There's Jane, window shopping. So Iceland's very pretty, and it's awesome because you know that you're as far north as you can be in terms of a city, but there's very little in terms of civilization above me at the moment. And well, of course, our main journey will begin in a couple of days' time. But here's a glimpse of what lies ahead. You can see a glimpse of the mountains, the clouds, and the waters. It is entirely shaped by fire and water. It's a volcano about to go off underneath our feet, quite literally. The two tectonic plates kind of are tearing Iceland apart as we speak, and in a few centuries or 500 to 1,000 years time, it'll all go bang. I just love these colourful houses. Look around me. Iceland also is very popular for gay people as a destination. It's a very liberal city and very gay friendly. So there's the Kiki Queer Bar, which is one of the significant places in town. And also it's very common for houses to have lots of art on it, and here's an example in front of you. Isn't that fantastic? I've already seen quite a few dogs as well. Very, very chilled vibe about the place. It's day 2 of our adventures in Iceland, and we're starting the day in a cafe downtown, very popular with the locals, and it's also coming up to the National Day. I think, is it tomorrow, Jane, the National Day?
Yes.
Yes, where
Independence Day.
it's the Independence Day, where in 1944 the Icelanders gained independence from Danish rule. So there'll be a lot of funfair, and we will be in town to witness that. So I'll share some of that with you. So here we are. You can see Reykjavik life. There's mostly locals here, and just people chilling out, enjoying the day. It's a Friday morning, so most of the people who see here would be tourists. So the temperature is roughly probably about 12 degrees Celsius, and I'm probably the only one in Iceland who's wearing shorts. And why not? I'm sure I won't be arrested for that, but yeah, I did.
Oh, did you?
I did actually. Okay, so yeah, one of the things that just came to mind, I'll share as things come into my head. Iceland, it's incredibly expensive. I mean, we do travel to Scandinavia, quite often, and we are used to Scandinavian prices, which are expensive. But when you come to Iceland, it's like, whoa, So That's one of the reasons is that nothing really grows here. In fact, everything has to be shipped from Denmark or Scandinavia. The climate's too extreme for agricultural produce or even livestock to be grazed, and that is the fundamental point behind these terribly expensive prices. But we don't mind, because in return what we get to see is quite extraordinary. So I shall speak to you later. So this is called the harpa, or I'll try and pronounce it. They call it the arpa, which is basically a harp, you know, in English. And it's the main conference hall in Reykjavik. It's a lovely vibe about the place. It's terribly modern architecture. You know, the Nordic are very cool in their design, you know, and it reflects very well here. Lots of straight lines, angles, and sharp corners. So, as you can see, people chilling out. There's a conference going on, and I also thought that I would tell you as to what our plans are. So I've asked Jane to you know, get the map out and show us what we will be getting up to over the next 10 days, and also what we did last year when we were here earlier. So Jane's somewhere there. Yeah, there she is. So we're on the 5th floor of here. So Jane, are you going to tell us what we are going to do?
Yeah.
From now on till the next 10 days.
Sure.
Yeah,
So here we are in Reykjavik.
that's
And,
Reykjavik.
last year we did the Route 1, which is all around here. And we did some takeouts to the northeast and the north and to the east, which was all really beautiful. The middle is all volcanic. And then this time we're going to this peninsula, the Snafflesnes Peninsula.
You need to speak up a bit, probably.
Here's the Snæfellsnes Peninsula.
So when do we go there?
So on Sunday we're picking up a car
Okay,
and we're going up here
okay,
and doing this peninsula that we haven't done before.
okay,
The main place is Stiklesholmer there,
okay.
and then we'll be driving up here.
How many days are we staying in that Stickles?
So we'll be here for one night.
Okay.
And we're one night everywhere.
Okay.
Sort of here all around these fields.
Mm-hmm.
And it's quite remote and unspoilt here.
Yeah,
And then the northernmost part we're going to is a place called
yeah.
Icelanders, which is there,
Icelanders, that's the northernmost part.
that we're staying, and we're staying there for 2 nights.
Cool.
And then you can see all these fields the way there. All this very northern part is for hiking only. You can't drive up there.
Okay, so we're focusing on that part of Iceland.
Yeah, this part.
Okay.
It's called the Western-Fjords.
Okay, do you remember the names of the places where we were last year?
Some of them.
Go on then. So we started off...
We actually did a massively long drive. The first place to somewhere here. Djupavik, around there.
Yeah.
And then we came all the way down here and we went up. I think actually we went up here. There was a place called Hoffen that we loved. Mm-hmm. And that's...
Husavik and Siglufjord.
I know, Hofsås, that's it.
Hofsås, yeah.
Yeah, and this is Siglufjordur of
Siglufjordur.
the TV series Trapped.
Yeah, we were there.
And then we came all the way down here to the east.
Hold on
and
a second, you're being too quick for me.
Okay, Akureyri here,
Yeah,
which was like a kind of a ski town.
yeah.
That's the northern capital, they call it.
Okay,
And then we made our way east
yeah,
here
yeah.
to a place, Eggs. I can't read that one, I don't know if you can. But just along from there and here.
Yep.
Siglufjordur, where Trapped was also filmed, where the ferry came in from Denmark. You can see the ferry line there.
Okay, and then from there,
From there, we kept on Route 1
Yeah.
all the way along the south.
Yeah.
Remember, we didn't see a place to stay or eat or anything for miles.
yeah,
This is the big national park, Vatnajökull something or other, which is near where that volcano erupted.
yeah,
And we carried on along the south coast. All
Yeah.
this is volcanic and glaciers. We walked up to a glacier, remember?
yeah.
And then there's a place called Fig and a place called
And the last night, speak up a bit.
yeah, and then we stayed here the last night before, and then we went to the Blue Lagoon on this peninsula here, and then
Okay, great, thank
came
you.
back.
Give us a smile then.
looking
Here's
very
my
smart.
young Icelandic friend, Baltu. We met Baltu last year when we came here, and he is the nephew of a dear friend, and we met up for a coffee. So, Baltu, could you teach us, just for my vlog and my viewers, maybe a bit of Icelandic? I know it's a very difficult language, so let's start off easy. You know, say that your name is Baltu to start with.
Okay. So, to say it simply in Icelandic, ég heiti Baldur.
So the story begins.
My name
Yeah.
is
And the story
translated
begins
into ég,
he
heiti is
insults
name,
the king
and then
of
Baldur.
Denmark.
So, ég
Sitting
heiti
on a
Baldur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just to
Okay,
make
give
fun
me
of the
give me a
Icelandic
few
people.
phrases in Icelandic. Say it's been a nice day, or what your plans are, you know, over the weekend. We just want to hear the sound of
Fought
it.
against the king.
Dagurinn minn í dag er búinn að vera ansi góður.
And then he
Ég vaknaði í morgun og tók strætó í vinnuna, var í vinnunni í nokkur klukktíma og áður en að þið komuð og sóttu mig og við komum hingað á Kaffi Flóru í hádegismat. Núna helgina er ég að útskrifast svo
And is that his
tölvunarfræði. Það verður mjög gaman og mikið partí. Það verður mjög gaman. Það er mjög gaman að hitta ykkur aftur. So I basically just said how my day has been going, and it's really nice meeting you guys again, and how my weekend's gonna be.
Yeah, I'm
Lovely, thank you.
setting up
I have one more question.
my
Yeah.
one person
Probably a
operation.
little tiny bit serious from what. How do you feel as a young Icelander in terms of what your relationship
Get a
with
website.
the rest of Europe or the rest of the world is?
It feels good. It feels like, you know, we are in this age of technology, basically, and everything. It feels like we get all the information, and so in a way you feel kind of connected to current events through just you get feedback and information so quickly. But at the same time, you also kind of always have this feeling that you are kind of isolated still, you know, being on you know, kind of like an island in the middle of the ocean. So it's kind of like a mixed thing. You, one part you feel really connected through all the information flow, but on the other hand, you're still kind of secure in your small protected island, kind of.
Very interesting. Yeah. Well, thank you very much indeed, and hopefully we look forward to see you and your beautiful girlfriend. There she is. Give us a wave, Bettina. Back in England at some point, so do visit us.
We would really look forward to that.
Thank you. Hi there.
yeah.
Yes, this is my young Icelandic friend Vera. Hi Vera, thank you for talking to me.
Yes.
So tell me, were you born here?
Yes, I was born here in Reykjavik, in Iceland,
Okay.
and also raised.
Raised in Reykjavik.
raised in Reykjavik.
Okay, and how is it to be a Reykjavikian or Icelandic? Tell me about your country and your life here.
It's great. I go to school. I'm going to high school right now in the downtown of Reykjavik, and living in Reykjavik is kind of quiet, but still there's a lot to do, and it's kind of like everywhere you go, you meet someone you meet. Everyone is related, and you always meet someone you are connected to somehow.
I'm with
everywhere.
you. And tell me about your family. Do you have a big family, a small family?
I just live with my mother because my mom and dad separated when I was very young. So
Okay.
we live together in apartments close to here, actually.
Excellent. Now, Vera, I want you to do us a favor.
Yes.
You know, for my viewers,
Yes.
are you going to say something in Icelandic? Maybe a poem or something that you might be.
Yes. I think I will tell you a little children's song. It's about a raven. A raven is a very typical Icelandic bird, actually.
Okay.
So here we go. Krummi svaf í klettagjá, kaldri vetrarnóttu á. Verðir margt af meini, verðir margt af meini. Fyrr en dagur fagur rann, friðinni kveður hann. Undan stórum steini, undan stórum steini.
That's brilliant. And could you just translate it a little bit?
Yes, it's a raven that sleeps in the mountains, and it's winter, so everything is frozen, and he's looking for something to eat, and so he is going under all the rocks to look for something that is edible. Yeah, that's.
Thank you so much. You've been an absolute star. Okay, and thank you for being brave and very kind to speak to
so
me.
nice to meet you.
And you. You take care.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Good morning. It's day 3 in Reykjavik, and it's a fair day. The sun's out, but for how long, that's anyone's guess. So here's another glimpse of Reykjavik. That's towards the city centre. Get an idea of the houses here. And it's a bit of a centerpiece. There's a lake which people of Reykjavik come to relax, and you see some lovely houses on the lakeside there. It's like any other Nordic city or town, really. But there's something so special, rather unique about Reykjavik, probably because you know, the remoteness of it, because there's nothing really exists above you, and that's a pretty awesome feeling. So it's also Iceland's National Day, which is the Independence Day from the Danes, so there's a lot of stuff happening in town. So there's this young lads all dressed up, scouts. There's some sort of festivity that's going to happen in town. So we'll try and catch a bit of that if we can, and share it with you. So yes, good morning from Reykjavik. That's the flag on top of the Parliament building, which is rather underwhelming. That's the National Parliament, and we're just waiting for the presidents and Prime Minister and all sorts of other dignitaries to come out. This is as big as it gets in Iceland. There's probably about 100 odd people scattered around. It is raining, but we'll brave this. And so, yeah, just a few people gives you the scale of things here, the idea of it. So there you go. Mostly tourists, really. There's not enough people to in the country to crowd an event like this. So yeah, oh, there's Jamie's Italian there. There you go. He's everywhere, isn't he? So, and oh, people are started coming out. So it looks like I've timed this well. So where's Jane gone? Let's have a look. Where are you? Oh, hang on. Can't see you.
Here I am.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, you were there. Okay, good. I thought I'd lost you. There you go. Everyone's in their national garb, looking very, very formal and very lovely and handsome. I like this policeman. Looks Nordic guy. Tough as old boots, as they say, so he's seen a few things. Hello, it's downtown Reykjavik in the afternoon, and the structure you see ahead is the famous Hallgrímskirkja, which is a church that dominates the Reykjavik skyline. So we'll walk up there and I'll share a bit more about it. So here I am at the Hallgrímskirkja. Now I have to be honest with you, it's I find it very difficult to get wildly excited about it, but one thing I have to admit, it is rather unique. I haven't seen anything like this sort of a structure anywhere else. Now, the idea was that, I can't remember who the architect was, but he was experimenting with the forms molten lava took as it cooled down. So that is the underlying inspiration behind the structure. But anyway, if you come to Reykjavik, you cannot not miss this. So here it is. Another interesting thing, you know, the statue in there. Can you see that gentleman there? Now that's an interesting one. Now, if I were to ask you who discovered North America, which European, probably 9 out of 10 of you would probably say unequivocally it's Christopher Columbus. However, if you haven't heard it before, you hear it from me now. According to Icelanders, this is the man called Leifur Eriksson, who first sailed to the shores of North America 500 years before Columbus did. How about that? And knowing the Nords, they wouldn't make it up, you know, they say things as it is. So I didn't know it, most people don't, but here you go. So I have a little plan, apparently for a small fee. Oh well, in Iceland there's nothing called a small fee. You can actually climb the observation desk at the top of the church. So let's see if I can make my way up there, because I hear the views are absolutely spectacular. So hello again from Reykjavik. So I'm on top of the tower now and filming this for you. It is the northernmost capital of any sovereign state, and above us, even though there is Greenland, it's actually Danish territory, so it doesn't count. About 100,000 people live here out of an international population of about 300, so 1 in 3. And across those waters we'll be traveling up north to the Western-Fjords tomorrow. History of Reykjavik, I think it dates back to roughly about 870 AD, where the first permanent settlement in Iceland by a Norseman is believed to have been established as Reykjavik by a guy called Ingolfur Emarson from Norway, and he has said to have decided to the location of his settlement using a traditional Norse method to cast his high sea pillars into the ocean when he saw the coastline, then settled where the pillars came to shore. And the steam from the hot springs in the region is said to have inspired Reykjavik's name, which literally translates to the Smokey Bay. So let's go to a different window and choose a different view. Yeah, I wanted to share, you know, one more information about Reykjavik. I don't know, I'm showing my age here, but I remember, those of you of my age who'd remember that about 25 odd years ago, Reagan and Gorbachev met here for the summit. That kind of one of the many events that led to the fall of the Berlin Wall and the Iron Curtain as we know now. It has always been a nation of neutrality. It still hasn't got any army of its own. So this is a great place to finish my Reykjavik story. Thank you for sharing all this with me. And before I go, let me tell you my relationship with Iceland and how it began. Roughly about 15 years ago, a friend of mine introduced me to some music from a group called Sigur Rós. I'd never heard about them prior to that. They are what we call, in terms of genre, an alternative rock band. And once I listened to them, I almost couldn't or didn't listen to anything else for the next 5 years. So those of you who are not familiar with Sigur Rós's music, I urge you to just find them on YouTube and delight your senses. They are about Iceland, you know, they make music that's so unique, and since then I was filled with this extraordinary draw and curiosity about a nation that I knew very little about. And finally, last year we came, and Iceland wasn't quite open. And until 2008, when the big banking crash happened, you know, Iceland was pretty close to most of the outside world, and not a great deal of tourism happened here. Very few people came here. This was not really Scandinavia, it was above Scandinavia and not considered as mainstream Scandinavia. However, since the crash, they had to open their doors for some extra revenue, which has resulted in a lot of debate about people coming in, and the peace and tranquility is being threatened. And also, on the other hand, if they don't, you know, they're caught in between a rock and a very hard place in terms of how they would rebuild. And they are rebuilding. They're managing tourism well, and but it's still an extraordinary jewel, and not a great deal of people have found out about this yet. So we came here for the first time last year, and we fell in love with the place, and we have come back here again. So it's goodbye from me from the Smokey Bay. Whenever I leave a place, I'm filled with bittersweet feelings of, if ever, will I come back here again? And part of me always says, yes, I will. But you know, we all go through that, don't we? It's a small, terribly short life, and then there's so much more to see. But Iceland has stolen our hearts, and I think we would always come back if you're alive. So tomorrow, across those hills, we start our big trek towards the Western-Fjords, for which I'll do a separate video. But for now, it's goodbye from me, and thank you very much for sharing the journey with us in Reykjavik. Bye for now.